Parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center Outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
Keep up with what's going on in the downtown area with Ocala Downtown Newspaper. Delivering thousands of newspapers to businesses in the downtown area, Ocala Downtown is there to keep you informed. They even have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask in return is that you tell them where you heard about it. It's simple. For more info, just call Tom's Picks, 352-804-1223, and pick up your copy of the Downtown Ocala newspaper today.
And now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
It's Monday. Not sure how you did it, but you actually survived an entire 2 days without hearing from Tom. Good job to you. And once again, good luck.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. 622-9622 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the program. I did get a text message during the break that said, Tom, I don't agree with you about your stance on it's not your situation to have an opinion about abortions, but I do agree with you that God's the only judge, and that's something that one will have to decide with their maker when they meet their maker. And that's what I'm saying. You don't have to agree with my stance, and I don't have to agree with your stance. But if you listen to the teachings of your faith, and your faith is that of a Christian, you do know you're not a judge. It's not your call. You're not supposed to judge others. And so we do that. And just by that faith, just by that right there, my faith tells me right there, I'm not to judge the decisions made by others that, or affect their lives. Somebody goes, well, it affects your life too. No, not really. If somebody has an abortion that, I don't know, 8 states over, that doesn't affect my life. I'm also not going to judge them. Good morning. You're on Ocala Talks.
Yeah, Tom, this is Mark.
Hey, Mark. How are
you? I'm listening to you this morning. I agree with you in your stand on abortion. And I went to the scriptures. I am a minister, and I was reading the 3rd chapter of Job. Maybe we should read that. Abortion is nothing new. If you can decipher the scripture in Job, he said he wished he had died from his mother's belly. And he also, why didn't my mother close her legs upon me when I was born? Sometimes children are not supposed to be born. But in this scripture here, if you can decipher and read it prayerfully, you'll see that abortion is nothing new. It's been around a long time. Maybe if Rebecca and Rachel had doctors in that day, maybe the doctor would have saved their lives. They both died in childbirth. But then that was God's decision to take the mothers out. But in Job, though, it does show that there must have been abortions in the early days of Scripture. And let's just read that. Maybe we study that 3rd chapter of Job and we may get something out of that. I'm going to still listen to you, but I do agree with what you're saying about it's a woman's choice, I believe, whether or not she want to bring a child into the world, whether she want to end the pregnancy.
And Mark, my God that I learned about through Christianity tells me I'm not supposed to judge what another person's decisions are. So, that's the other part of that. It's one of those situations where I stay out of the discussion because I don't have, I'm not having a baby. I'm not walking around carrying a baby. I'm not having to make the decision whether to bring a fetus into the world or out of the world. It's one of those decisions that it's been made now to where it is a health regulated alternative. And I know it shouldn't be used as birth control, and some people do. That's a whole different conversation. But if you go and you strip away abortion laws as the way they're written now, you're going to have people back in back rooms and back alleys. And you're going to have death upon death. And if your goal is to stop unwanted death, how can you put things into a back room where you know death is going to happen? Well, they made that decision. You know, the harlot. See, now you're judging. And that's not your job either. Just my take on it. 622-9622 is the number to call if you want to talk about that. Hey, kudos to the Marion County Sheriff's Office. They have arrested a suspect that's he's thought to have been he's charged with stealing 7 four-wheelers. He was denied bond as the sheriff's office keep their investigation going into his theft. And what happened was he would respond to a posting where a four-wheeler was for sale. He'd go to the people that were selling four-wheeler, ask if he could take it on a test drive, and just drive off and never come back. He never returned, didn't answer phone calls. According to deputies, from August 13th through September 7th, owners of the miniature vehicles would post vehicles for sale on various mediums. They'd meet the supposed buyer at various locations in Silver Spring Shores. The buyer would ask if he could test drive it, and then he just rides away. They got a description of the suspect. They had identified him as Jamori Stephen Javon Smith at Silver Spring Shores. He was caught by deputies near his residence on Dogwood Loop on September 30th when the vehicle he was driving went into a ditch. He got out and ran to his front door. He was apprehended before he could get inside. They found a bag that contained cocaine and drug paraphernalia inside the car he was driving. Charged with multiple counts of grand theft of motor vehicle and drug offenses. He appeared Friday in front of a judge who did not grant him bond. One of the four-wheelers had been recovered. They believe Smith resold the rest. Deputies said their investigation is ongoing. State records show Smith was released from prison in February after serving time for several offenses, including multiple counts of grand theft. Deputies are asking people who have the intention of selling a valuable item to do so either in a public area or at any law enforcement agency instead of meeting at places where somebody could drive off with your equipment. But the police have arrested Javon. It's here somewhere. Well, Javon Smith, I believe, is. Yeah, I've lost his name now. And it was a long name, too. Here it is. Jamori Stephen Javon Smith is being held for those charges of grand theft for stealing 7 four-wheelers over a period of few months from February through recent. So good for the police to have him in custody. That's one of those things that you always don't. Sometimes you don't realize how tirelessly the detectives of the local law enforcement work on nonviolent crimes, such as this one, and they were able to bring a suspect to custody, recover one of the four-wheelers. They believe he sold the other 6. They've also resold the other 6. But they're efforting through continuing the investigation to get a hold of all 6 of those as well. But the Marion County Sheriff's Office arrested Jamori Stephen Javon Smith for grand theft and drug possession and drug paraphernalia possession in connection with 7 four-wheeler thefts in the Silver Springs Shores area. So good job to the police for that. We're going to take a break. Come back, hour number 3 right here on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. You're listening to Ocala Talks with Tom Schmitz on WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International